It's July 20th. And why don't we do the quick pledge? Okay. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Cool. Excellent. All right. Thank you for that. I again made a mistake on last week's minutes on numbering, so I'll fix that. Sorry about that. Forgot the 6 in there. Working too fast. Can I get a motion to approve the minutes of 7/13, please?
Moved.
Anyone? Thank you. Is there a second?
Sure, I'll second it.
Thank you, Bob H. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Great. Thank you very much. Lauren, is there anybody on for public comment? No?
You have no members of the public on.
Okay. Have you heard from Gus in the last few days? Hi,
You know
Peter.
what? I haven't, so.
Okay. Let's call Gus.
Hmm.
Call Gus. Okay. You know, when you're 90 plus, you know, you gotta be careful in this weather. Okay, so the first thing I had for agenda is the status of the questionnaire. And we were just talking about it. I've got my Excel spreadsheet. What I'll do is I can take, and I meant to do it today, I just couldn't get to it. I'll try to, in our deliverable, I'll try to take the data that Lauren coalesced for us and talk about the questions. But where I'm struggling is what we do with the answers to the free form questions. And Lauren, when I were talking about it before, a couple of you got on, and we were talking about maybe grouping them.
I started
together.
To do that.
Did you? Did you?
Yeah,
do
I did
that?
the first 2 questions. I added them onto the Google spreadsheet.
Oh.
I can only get through the first 2. And what I did was read them all.
Yes.
And I tried to come up with common themes that had enough that it kind of resonated.
Kind of meat to it, yeah.
And so if you open it, you'll see survey Q1, survey Q2 tabs. And it's interesting. There's common themes between both.
Now, where are you on that spreadsheet? In the drive?
Yeah, the Google Drive, the government outcomes matrix working copy, the one that.
Oh. Okay.
I didn't know how to create a Google spreadsheet, so I just added on to it.
You know, why get complicated, right? Yeah, absolutely. Okay, I'll take a look at that. So can we refer to that spreadsheet or bring it into our document?
I think we can you could all look through it, but I think you could just bring the open-ended question, you know, for like Q1, in your opinion, what are the cause of low voter turnout and participation in Madison? I kind of found 5 themes. Some of them tend to overlap a little bit, but it was pretty clear. And then I counted how many responses fell into each theme, and then gave it a percentage. And like on this one, theme 5 actually could roll into something else.
Okay.
But I think that might help.
I think that's
a pretty good indication.
Yeah. Oh, that's really helpful.
Because just on Q1 and Q2, the things that really come out are communication and convenience.
Okay.
Well, and then
Q1, I read a lot.
7 was people just aren't interested. Their highest vote getter was everyone thinks everyone's apathetic about participating.
Right.
But no, I thought it's interesting. It lines up a lot with what we've talked about. So I think
it kind of validates what we were thinking, I think. Yeah, for sure.
And some of the ideas about communication, making it easy to participate, A lot of things about I just can't get there. 7 o'clock is too early or too late.
Mhm.
Mail in, online. And everyone hates, and if there's an opinion on the website, it's not positive. Difficult to navigate and all.
Right. And I find that so easy to use. It says in a big bold thing, click here for this, click here for that. I don't know, other than driving to your home, I don't know else how to, you know, putting it on your doorstep for you. Okay.
You know, the only other that I don't know how you factor it in, but I think, you know, Bruce Wilson's comment that people only speak up if they're unhappy about something. You can't gauge, you can't derive from that people who are just happy with the way the system's generally happy with the way this, you can't glean that out of that data.
Right,
But I think
right.
that's a very important thing to consider. I don't
Yeah,
know how you do
absolutely.
it. I don't know how to consider that.
Yeah.
Well, I actually, on that Q1, that first question,
Mhm.
why is voter turnout low? 14 people said because everything is fine, so I don't need to get involved. That's 13%.
So 14, that's 0.01% of the population.
No, of respondents. 13% of
0.001.
respondents.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
But you're right. No, you're right. The problem with the surveys, you don't fill out a survey unless you want to say something.
Right. Right. And you can tell right away the tone of the survey
Oh, yeah.
just from
That's
the answering the first question. You can just tell. Like, here we go. Okay. So we'll continue to work on that. That's great. That's great. I needed some help on that, so I appreciate it.
I'll finish the other questions.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Bob. And then the town employee questions. So I talked to 2 town employees, and then Lauren sent me over 6 more emails of the town employees either filling out the questionnaire that we sent to the regular electorate or the questions that we had sent just to the town employees. And I put in the document and I can send that to you. I'm happy to send those emails to you just for posterity's sake. But what I gleaned out of there, I added to page, what page is that? I can't even tell. In our deliverable, where are the page numbers? Well, I put it down under consultations, the town employee survey.
Mm-hmm.
So we had a total of 8 responses, and the feedback was helpful. I really liked reading some of the things people said. I really much more enjoyed and got a lot more out of people that I spoke with. So Lauren, you said that one particular town employee, did he want to talk to us again, or where do you, because in his...
No, that was like a crossing paths. Like we did
Okay.
the survey and then he said he wanted to talk to you guys, so I set up that phone call with him. So that was a duplicate.
And we had since spoken. Okay.
Yep.
So the themes that I got out of when speaking and also reading the data from the town employees, I got that majority of them, there was 8, so a majority of them would like to see a town manager. And that I quoted one of them saying, I think a consistent professional who doesn't have to learn the ropes before his first term is up would be helpful. Less politics for the individual department heads, unquote. There's also support for the term of the Board of Selectmen to be raised from 2 to 4. And other opinions were scattered. Things like less reliance on volunteer boards and commissions, and that the Board of Selectmen has been lacking continuity and too politically influenced. So that's what I gleaned out of that. Generally, like I said, when we had live interviews on the telephone, that was really good. But the town employees with the survey was not as helpful as the town employee for the electorate. So
Bob, how many people did we actually ask to fill out the survey in town, and how many did we get
In the, for the electorate or the employees?
for the employees?
Employees, Lauren, do you know how many we might have reached out to?
It was all of senior staff, so it was 15.
Okay, and then we
Okay,
got how
so-
many back, Lauren?
We got 8 back.
8.
Okay.
And you know, I'll tell you, I know this is being recorded, but the town clerk was excellent, and so was Dave Anderson, our economic development person. That's all I was able to talk to, and you know, the survey that we gave the employees, in their defense, it wasn't as good as the one I think that we did for the town employees, but I still didn't get for the town electorate, but we still didn't glean a lot from the town employee survey for the responses. So, you know, we'll take what they gave us, and so I've added that. So I'm going to delete out of our deliverable document. No offense to Jean, but I'm going to delete what she wrote if no one minds, and then we'll just use what I added, and of course anything that I've written, you're all more than I'll invite you to wordsmith it, make it sound better, make it more grammatically correct or whatever. I'm hardly a writer. And then I added conclusions for the town employee agent interviews for the superintendent, Board of Ed chair, P&Z chair, town clerk, and the economic development director. Please take a look at that and whack that if you like. And then, oh no, where'd it go? I just lost it. Hang on. This happened before. Rather than the bullet points that I had in there, and rather than what Jean had in there from her summary, we can go ahead, if everyone doesn't mind, I can delete all of that and just use the summary. That's not coming back up. Here we go. User error here. Come on. Okay, we're back. So I can delete that stuff. And then we can insert the items that Bob R is working on in the public questionnaire. I also did the same thing for the former first selectman. I put that into a summary format of a bit of a longer paragraph of what we talked about. And again, you're all welcome to take a whack at that as well. In the current Board of Selectmen, we've only spoken really officially to Bruce. So we've spoken to Al, but not on a one-on-one. And we haven't spoken to Peggy, Aaron, or Scott. I don't know if they still want to be part of this, Lauren. I can, if you want, I can reach out to Peggy to see if they want to do that. That's, you know, that I do think that their opinions and responses are pretty darn important here, since they're the people that are currently in charge.
I will put something on Peggy's calendar. As far as Scott and Aaron, I have emailed them at every, in process of your last 2 meetings, I've emailed them again on that chain where I first tried to set up the meeting, asking for them to get back to me. So I will again tonight. And I know Aaron was on vacation for a little while, and so was Scott, and then Scott came back from vacation. He's just been slammed at work, so I'm sure Aaron's kind of feeling that too, but hopefully they'll get back to me today or tomorrow. And
is it possible they just want to stay neutral in this and let us come up with our own and not try to bias it at all?
That could be
possible, but I've still asked them just to email me back and let me know if they're interested, just so I don't keep bugging them.
We'll do whatever they want, and once we figure out what they're doing, I was going to, you know, provide a summary of what they told us there. So we'll hold off on that section until we hear back. I thought Leo did a wonderful job on the summaries of the interviews with the municipalities. You can tell he is an attorney. So with Leo doing that, we can take out what I had written, we can take out what Gene had written, because he summed it up perfectly, I thought. And I put a question here as a comment. Leo, great job summarizing the interviews with the other municipalities. We can delete what Gene and I did, question mark. So I don't want to do that without him, because this directly impacts what he wrote. So I don't want to go in and delete anything until he gives me the okay. He's not on right now, but we can do that. And that's, you know, takes a second and a half. And then we've got our issues identified and recommendations, our common themes, and our recommendations, our final recommendations.
I guess one question I had is whether we wanted to talk about the possible outcomes first and then have the recommendations.
Sure.
Or just flip it, because it seems like we build all this information and the recommendations, to my way of thinking, should be at the very end of this document.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe that's not the way it's done anymore, but that just seemed like that's where you'd want it to be, is at the end of the document, and you kind of build to that with all the stuff that's gone in there before.
So are you suggesting that we move the problem statements above the recommendations?
Yeah, I would think so. And then you close with your recommendations, because the problem statements sort of tell people what you've identified, and then you come back with your recs. That's my view anyway.
Bob R, I don't want to. Hey, Leo, how you doing? Oh, he can't hear us.
Yeah, I think a problem statement basically go under that. You can stick it in the common themes. It's essentially, it's the common theme with additional explanation.
Right. Yeah.
That makes perfect sense.
As I keep reading what you've written, Bob R, that when I saw the problem statements 1, 2, and 3, or one and 2, I thought that you were just kind of free-forming it, you know, just as a working document.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's why I, you know, to Peter's point, you know, I didn't make any mention about where it should go. But yeah, we can make that change. That's easy. That's certainly just a cut and paste, you know. So, Leo, how you doing?
Hey, sorry everybody.
It's okay. No,
kept me over. I apologize.
No problem. Hey, you did a great job on summarizing the town stuff for me.
It was easy. All the notes were there.
Yeah. No, you write really well.
I'm a very good secretary.
No, you did a great job. No, but you had to go and you had to look up. You added some things about, you know, the grand list, the population, important details. I know we have all that stuff in notes and everything, but still, you know, you had to kind of look around for it. Hey, Leo, can I delete, since you've done that? Can I go and delete what I had done? Okay.
Yeah, I saw your note, and I just, you know, again, I think when we go to finalize things, it's easy to delete stuff. But since we only have one version, I didn't want to delete anything that was there in case someone looked at it and said, well, that's not how I interpreted that point. Or what about this one that you missed? So at least that list, and if we needed to make edits. But if you all are satisfied with it, I mean, I've downloaded a copy and I've got it. So if we need to go back.
Yeah, one copy, that'd be fine.
Yeah.
But
so
sure.
Okay, so I'll delete it.
I can just do it now.
Okay, do it, please. That'd be great. Because we have, with your synopsis, did you see what I did on the conclusions on what the interviews with the town employee agent? I kind of did that in a summary format, but obviously I'm just not that great of a writer, to be honest with you.
That's fine. I mean, a lot of it's there. We can all look at it and edit, and I've got no problem doing that. Yeah.
Good. And just so you know, we're still going to reach out to the current Board of Selectmen to see if they want to add anything. If they want to stay neutral, that's fine too. I did get a kick out of interviewing Bruce. I love people with strong viewpoints on things. And I think we'll just continue to work on, finishing this up.
Gus is on, by the way.
Oh, great. Hi, Gus. Glad you're well. We were getting worried. Let's see. Yeah. Okay. And Peter, we can move that stuff as you noted. And Bob R, again, only remind me, the stuff that you highlighted in yellow, that just flows over to your comment.
Correct.
Okay. It just distracts me. I'm easily distracted. Okay, good.
I had one question under the problem statement 1 under potential solutions. I put it in green, or maybe that's the way that the document works. It said include explicit political party nominations and petition provisions. I just didn't understand what that meant.
Wait, where are you here?
So
You said
when you read the charter now, it's silent on those points, particularly the petition provisions. And one of the things that we have talked about is Fairfield, for example, has explicit provisions within the charter on how you can go either approach.
Should we just use the word charter then?
That was sure, and I think it more is a movement type of thing because it was connected to charter revision in the Excel spreadsheet.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
It's a nit. Sorry.
Yeah.
No, if you have the question, and someone else is going to have the question.
Someone else
too,
will.
So, yeah, for sure. Okay.
And the only other comment I have was there's one about open all primaries to unaffiliated voters. I'm not sure we can even do that.
Yeah, I saw that too. Not sure that there's been a primary. Yeah, Gus would know.
We can't.
You
Yeah, I
can't.
didn't think
Okay. So.
We can just strike that, I guess, then.
Yeah, we can strike that. Wasn't that the case a few years, not a few, but many years back, where unaffiliated people could vote in either party primary? I think I remember doing that as a maybe college kid, maybe, or something, maybe that long ago. I don't know. Gus would know, but.
Well, I think that also happens to be for national elections too, is the other thing.
Yeah.
You tend to have more of that. Like California, for example, you can vote, I think, in anybody's primary, but it's for state elections, House, Senate, and then higher up into national politics.
Wow.
I don't think they do it at the local level. But I don't know.
Good. Is there anything else we still need to add to this document? Did we hit every point from Leo's initial skeleton, which really got us on track really well? I don't think we've missed anything. As I was going through it, and Peter, you added the town meeting form of government is found in 3% of U.S. city governments. However, it is the dominant 3%. That's it nationwide.
But it dominates the Northeast.
Yeah.
I thought it was much higher.
Yeah, it's funny once you get out of New England, like all the New England forms of government kind of go away.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like we don't burn witches anymore, too. So. Yeah. Wow. Okay. All right. And so if you guys don't mind, taking a look at what I've added in blue for the town employees and the former first selectman, where I summarized, I'd appreciate that. And feel free to wordsmith it or strike, delete, add, whatever, or look at your own notes and say, Bob, you forgot this point or whatever. That'd be great. Just 2 minutes, no big deal, because I'm not a great writer by any stretch. And I think that's about it. Do you think that we could have a final document, if not next week, the week after? You know, I think the public questionnaire, that's going to need some time to kind of review. That might take an extra week to go through that and come to an agreement with all of us on some of the more important topics that they brought up, and then add it to this document. Leo, Peter, Bob R. Did some coalescing with on the spreadsheet that I think you had started. Rather than create a new one, he just added some tabs. And so he's going to work on that. I really appreciate that. That's some heavy lifting there. And we can add that to our document in the appropriate place once we're all set. But I think we could probably have a final version of this, at least for our consumption, in 2 weeks, I think, at the outset.
And then do we present it then to the Board of Selectmen? Is that how it works?
Yeah. We'll all present it, and maybe we can delegate out different parts that we're interested in, and Zoom it. I don't think they're meeting. I don't think anyone's meeting yet physically. So if in 2 weeks we're still Zooming, we'll Zoom it with the board. I'll put another shirt on. I haven't tied a tie in about 6 weeks. That's fine. I'll tie a tie again.
I haven't gotten a haircut. I mean, geez Louise.
I'm up to two. I'm up to two.
That's why I wear the hat.
I'm on the edge.
You guys would think I was a hippie.
Yeah, I'm on the edge.
You got clippers at CVS. They work great.
Or a bowl. You can use a bowl, Leo.
Dumb and Dumber.
There you go.
Yeah. That's awesome. So we'll present to the board, and then we'll see where it goes from there. Maybe we get it to them prior to, so they could review it first, and then we make the presentation. They can be prepared for any questions. And we'll probably be a 12 or 13 page document, so it's pretty long. I'm so glad we didn't do a PowerPoint presentation. I'm glad you guys talked me out of that really early, because that could just be so painful. So we'll see where it goes from there.
So if I can just interject, the presentation to the board would have to be at one of their meetings. So they meet again on August 24th. They only have one meeting in August.
Oh, wow. Let's look at the calendar here.
That's probably the one we should shoot for.
Let's shoot for that. Yeah, Lauren, do you mind getting us on that agenda?
Not at all.
Okay, so the 24th, that's great.
Yeah, thanks, Lauren. I was just looking at it.
Yeah, thanks, Peter. That's awesome. Where they typically meet every other Monday? Is that how it works?
The second Monday in the morning and the fourth Monday in the evening, except for July and August, that only have an evening meeting.
Okay. Yeah. And maybe by the 24th, we'll be physically together again. If Connecticut keeps going there.
No, I don't think so.
I think so. If we're gonna open schools that next week, I got to send my wife to school. I don't know. I'm hoping.
We'll see if that happens too.
Yeah,
I think that's up for debate.
That's true. Lauren and I were talking. My wife got a brand new MacBook a couple of weeks ago, and I love opening a computer up from the box, and doing the unwrapping and setting it up for her and all that stuff. She could care less, but when somebody gives you a MacBook, that means you're going to probably be staying home, I think.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Anyway, and she's in Old Saybrook, so it's just down the pike here. So, and typically all the shoreline towns do the same things. They must all talk. So, all right, guys and gals, I really appreciate it.
I have one point or question. Yeah. So, has everyone reviewed the recommendations that I drafted? Because they're not in any particular order, and they're essentially just a summary of what we had in the spreadsheet, but I'm not sure we all agree on what they say. If we do, then we're that much closer.
Well, why don't we make it a point, let me write it down, to review, ask everybody to review the those 3 items and be prepared next week, 3 items, for maybe a final, I'm not think we need a vote on it, but a final discussion. And, you know, I realize that these are just it's a working document. So yeah, it needs to be tightened up and all that good stuff, but absolutely we could, you know, and if you even want to throw in your comments during the week, we could even talk about the comments via the document. I love being able to put notes into this and just asking a question about something and somebody can reply or reply by email or whatever. But yeah, so why don't we put that part of it to bed next week, Bob, for sure. And if you're on, you know, when you're on, great, we can do it collaboratively, but I don't think we need a vote to, you know, based on that. I mean, because a lot of these have a bunch of different points in it. So
Yeah, you know, I read these yesterday, and I thought it really captured in general what we've been coming up with. I really did. I mean,
yeah.
you can wordsmith things differently. We all do that.
Right.
But the theme and the concept, I think we're pretty much in sync. At least that was my view.
Peter, I agree with you. I think this has been such a very collaborative effort as a committee goes, and doing this when no one really knows each other. I mean, I knew Jean and that was it, but I haven't seen her in many, many years. But doing this all together as a bunch of strangers who've, you know, become friends, and, you know, nothing really got in the way of us giving our opinion on something or being able to say something, and no one, I don't think, has been afraid to say something. So I think it's been a really nice collaborative effort, and I think we got to these points, Peter, to your point, because we've been working collaboratively on it. So I'm not surprised.
The only thing that people might want to do, and I think, Bob, you said it a second ago, is do you want to rank order some of them? I mean, I agree with them, you know, taken en masse, but maybe some should be higher up than others. I don't know.
Okay, we could talk about that too. Absolutely. So the homework is for next week is to definitely review the entire document, add anything you'd like to add, make any changes. I would ask you that you be respectful to the people that have written it, to ensure that you don't change the intent of someone else's point, but maybe put it in a note format, and then we'll use it as a guide for next week. So if you know, Leo wanted to add something that Bob had written, you know, let's make sure that we keep it in respect, you know, a collaborative format, and then we can just, you know, kind of debate it out, so to speak.
Hey, Bob, I have a quick question. I've had a number of distractions going on here.
Yeah. Well, the other guys, first of all, the other guys don't know you're on a boat right now. So this is probably our first Zoom on a boat, which is awesome. I'm glad you're on it. Yeah, I'm glad you're on it, because just knowing you're on a boat is making me a little nauseous right now. So go ahead.
But my question is, when do we think we would have the completion and working summary for the public opinion and the town employees / you know, Board of Selectmen feedback? Because I think that's, for me, that's kind of like an important component. So maybe I missed that because I've got a lot of things going on in the background here, but when do we hope to have that by?
So do you mean our working document or the questionnaire?
No, like the questionnaire, you know, the summary of the results. Because I think Bob you mentioned you were try and force feed those into some kind of a categorical summary. But I want to make sure that, you know, in our final, you know, executive summary, if you will, that those are very carefully considered, especially, you know, And I just, maybe I missed it because like I said, I've got a lot of things going on in the background.
Well, so and I thank Bob ahead of time for doing that. When we cram it into this document, we'll also put it on the web for Lauren. Lauren says they take other questionnaires and they put it on the website of the conclusions. So we can essentially take all of the percentages, the questions, and somehow format it into the website so people can go and review it. That'd be, I think that's really important for the public to see what the feedback was from their neighbors.
And we can probably link it in our document to the website.
Good point. That's a good point too. So yeah.
I just want to make sure it's fully considered in the presentation of the recommendations.
Definitely. And also take a look at what Lauren had sent in the spreadsheet. She sent it in 2 different spreadsheets. So one of them is wild. It's an eye test, but I really like looking at the conclusions of what she did and then taking each question and then all of the responses underneath. I really appreciate that extra hard work she did to get that done for us, because I was really worried about trying to figure that one out. So
that's a big project.
That's a big project right there. So, yeah. As I got older and older at work, I had younger and younger people do that stuff spreadsheet wise for me. So I really lost my spreadsheet skills as I got older in the career. So anyway, good. All right. I appreciate it, everybody. Any other questions, concerns, dates? Plan on the 24th for the final presentation to the Board of Selectmen. Plan on next week having a really solid look at the document of the deliverable and making sure that we can all debate and discuss anything in there. So it's not the final, but you want to have a really good, on the 17th of August, I'd rather not have anybody raise their hand saying, I don't agree with something, because we'll have vetted this out well before that. So maybe if you look at your calendar, today's the 20th, if maybe we could have a really solid draft for the 3rd, after next week, we talk about the rest of this stuff, we could probably be in really good shape and have it ready, for the 10th or the 17th, ready to go on the 24th. So the light at the end of the tunnel. I'm psyched. And then the summer's over and we're into Labor Day. We can celebrate Labor Day, whenever that is. That is the 7th? 7th this year. Good. Well, I appreciate everybody's hard work.
So,
I really thank you. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Before you go, Gus has his hand raised.
Oh, yeah. I'm not going to, you got to do public comment.
Okay.
Yeah. Please, Gus, please go ahead.
How you guys doing?
Good. How are you staying cool?
I'm just trying to stay cool.
Good.
Just thing to be sure that you don't get cut or get caught up short at the selectmen's meeting. A suggestion that you go back to your charge, list each sentence in a column, one above the other, and be sure whatever content is going to be in that presentation to them responds to whatever is in each of those individual questions or comments or statements, whatever they may be. Because there's nothing more embarrassing, and it's happened to me before, there's nothing more embarrassing than getting at a meeting and making a presentation and having somebody on the other side of the table say, well, what's your response to this? And I'm sure you've done that, but that's about all I have to offer, because I think you guys have covered all of the bases, if not more than all of the bases.
Yeah, I thank you, Gus. I appreciate that. I think in some respects, you're right. We did a little more. And I think we all agree that there's not one recommendation that's going to come out of this document. And the Board of Selectmen is going to have to, they're going to have to be okay with that. And respectfully so, I think the Charter Revision Committee then takes the helping hand that we gave them and all the research and all the data and all the interviews and all the things we've done, and then takes it to that next level. And,
Yeah,
and
I don't think that's a problem, because then
Okay.
that original letter I sent to the Board of Selectmen back in the summer of 2019, I suggested they put 2 items on the ballot to determine form of government. One would be for an RTM and the other one would be for a town manager council. Because, you know, I thought that the public should have an option as to which direction we wanted to go in. My issue is that I don't think the town meeting form of government is relevant anymore. And I was looking at alternatives, and those are the 2 that I suggested the Board of Selectmen take a look at.
Yeah.
You know, that was back like in August of 2019, or, you know, a year ago.
right, we've got that
So
letter,
there's no,
yes.
you know, I don't foresee any problem that if you folks come up with a couple of alternatives or an alternative and a what if type of thing, I see no problem with that.
Okay, good. Well, thank you for that. And we'll definitely get the charge out again for next week. And we'll look at it again and we'll ensure that what we've done in our deliverable as best as we can covers that charge. It might not be totally perfect, but
Hey,
I think it's going to be darn close.
okay, and I just wanted to thank all of you for the work and time and effort you've put in.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Gus, for being there for us, and
Okay.
please stay informed, and please stay you know, on the Zoom with us as we do this weekly, and we appreciate you participating very much.
And I hope when the time comes, if and when they appoint a actually charter review revision committee, that some of you would participate in that and bring the knowledge that you gained during this 3 or 4 months or 5 months now, actually.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Okay, if there's nothing else, any other questions? If not, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Great. Is there a second?
Second.
Excellent, gentlemen and ladies. Thank you very much. Talk to you if feel free to reach out during the week to anybody, and I'll look forward to catching up and looking at that draft for next week. Really appreciate
Bob, are you
it.
going to clean up the document and move things around before we start playing around?
You know,
with it?
I'm gonna let Bob R move his stuff up.
Okay.
I just don't want to.
No, I understand.
I hate touching anybody's stuff. You know, it's like remember when you were roommates in college and you didn't want to touch your roommate's yogurt or you know the leftovers. I just don't want to do that. You know, unless we're working together on it at the same time. You know, collaboratively. So. All right, guys, I really appreciate it. And Lauren, anything else on your end?
No, just a quick note that I will not be hosting your meeting on August 3rd. We have a summer intern who's helping out, and I have some days off that week with my daughter.
Okay,
so I will
great.
not be around.
Good for you.
Okay, well, have some great PTO, and
We were going to try to go to the beach in Madison, but I don't think we're going to do that anymore.
No, don't.
Yeah, that's a whole other subject and a whole other committee and a whole other, you know, poor Peggy, poor board. Jeez.
Deja vu all over again.
It is, but at least it's not a parking pass issue. So
Yeah.
I'll leave that alone. Anyway, have a great week, everybody. Thank you for your time.
Good night.
Thank
See
you
you.
very much. Have a good one. Take
Bye.
care. Bye-bye.